A show that kind of changed your life.
I'll tell you a bad show.
Okay. Okay.
So this was in I was in college CKP, and there was this band competition that was happening in a nearby college, a very famous college, MCC, Mount Carmel College. And I didn't know how to play the guitar, not too much. I knew a little bit, but I definitely was not gig ready. And the three of us had not rehearsed, done nothing. I said, just go and just play, don't worry. So when I went on stage, halfway through the song, I realized my guitar was not tuned. And they literally booed us off stage. Next year, I won the competition, best guitar player, best band.
Wow, that's a good comeback.
So that gig was a very important gig. I don't know if it was the best gig, but it was a very important gig in my life.
Hey guys, welcome to Art and Culture Tribe. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we have with us an amazing singer-songwriter. He's also a music producer who's also into painting, doing sketches and drawings. You want to know who it is? Let's check them out. So let's welcome my dear friend Sylvester Pradeep.
Hi, guys.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, very good. How are you?
I'm very good, bro. Thank you so much for coming for the show.
Very happy to be here.
How have you been? What's going on?
I've been very good. This year has been quite a roller coaster of a year.
Okay.
Did a lot of things and did some music, did some artworks, and one of the films that I composed music for was out this year.
Oh, nice.
So that was a very good thing that happened. And but otherwise, been writing songs and just making music.
Great. All right. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and let's go. So, who is Sylvester Pradeep as a musician? What defines Sylvester Pradeep as a musician?
Okay, that's a question I ask myself every day. But I think I'm a singer-songwriter, but I have been practicing different styles of music, different forms of music, and where it can be catered to different kind of listeners. So this is a study that I've been doing for a very long time, and I try to implement onto the music that I make. So I have been, I think in short, I'm just a student of life and music, just trying to figure what's the best way to experience music.
Yeah. Nice. What was your childhood like? What influenced you to get into music?
I started music very early in life. I think I must have been about 10 years old. I started playing the keyboard in church with my dad.
Okay.
My dad was a singer, and he's been a very big influence of music in my life. But having said that, I was not drawn to music for a very long time. Though I started playing the keys because my dad also was a musician. I mean, it was in the genes, so I understood what music, how it's supposed to sound. But but I think I fell in love with music when I first. My brother was playing the guitar, not me.
Okay.
And when he was playing the guitar, I watched him play "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin, and I was like, "Wow, what is that sound? Why is it sounding so good?" And it got my attention, and I've been hooked on the guitar ever since. I think I must have been around 16, 17 years old around that time, and I think that is when I truly fell in love with the instrument and with the concept of music. The more I discovered the instrument, the more I discovered music, and the more I discovered myself in the process.
I understand what you mean by that. Yeah, so true. What were your early music influences like?
So I was not exposed to Western music as much. My mom used to listen to some ABBA, some Bonnie M, and some Elvis Presley. She was a big fan of Elvis Presley. So, but that music didn't really move me. And first, I remember we had a mixtape in my house, and I didn't know. I don't even remember what what it is called, but it had a lot of songs, a lot of these classic songs. And there's one song in that cassette that really moved me. It made something, I mean, something different happened inside. There was this very cool guitar work and one very soulful voice, and then the drums kicked in with a lot of strings coming in. This is Ain't No Sunshine, basically. So when I heard that song, I knew that that sound was the closest to what I could relate. And then I was drawn. I understood that it was a very specific genre. It was R&B. It was a little bit of blues and soul. I didn't know these terms at that point, but then I started searching for songs which had similar sound, and so then I gradually got drawn into blues. I think Jimi Hendrix was a very big influence on me. Then I stumbled upon in college. I stumbled upon Beatles, and I fell in love, man. I mean, they had a very big impact on me musically. So Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, they were like initial influences, but they were the only artists that I had the exposure to. I didn't have any other artists at that point. Then I started listening to a lot more music. John Mayer, I became a big fan of John Mayer. I really loved the style, the balance that he struck between blues and contemporary pop, and singer-songwriting material. So I think he's been a great influence on my music.
Okay. And I think talking about John Mayer, he is himself. You can
Correct.
just totally say that.
Correct.
I mean, there are many people, but whenever I listen to his songs, he's himself. I think there is no. He's not spoilt. You know, you get what I mean.
I know what you mean, and I also feel like that's primarily because every artist has multiple sides to them. I feel, and what happens is because of the sound that you like, because of the sound that the band is having, or you as an artist is having, you are forced to only cater to that particular sound, and the other sectors of you become somewhat just another addition. But in John Mayer's case, I feel like he understood that he had a lot of sectors and he catered to all of them equally. He has blues, he has pop, he made a country album.
Yeah, it is
And
amazing.
that doesn't sound so anything like a country album, but still it has all the essence that is required for a country album. So and he did a proper trio rock album, blues rock album.
Yeah.
So he catered to all those sectors like with unapologetically, and I feel that is what really shines through in his music, and that's why everybody loves him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. When did you write your first song? What was it about?
My first song was this song called Angel. It was a very depressing song, though. It was about this character. It was an imaginative story based on a few real incidents, of course,
Okay.
that that I'd seen happen. I'd seen people in love fall apart because of various things. It could have been breaking up or death or many things, many ways. Like how does the one person feel after they lose the person they are in love with? So that kind of got my attention, and it very organically came out. I wrote a song, and I've never recorded it. Neither have I performed it too many times.
Okay.
I think I might have performed it maybe once or twice, maybe all my life.
Okay.
But it's a very special song. It's one of the first songs that I ever wrote.
Okay. Are
And
you going to record it someday?
Someday I'm sure I'll record it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that right now.
Someday I'm very sure I'll record it. And the song is it's aged as wine, like wine as well. So it's so many songs you write, and after a few years you don't feel like that's not a very good song anymore, right?
Yeah.
So this one song that stayed with me throughout, Like maybe I'm very attached to the song,
Okay.
but musically also I feel like it's a nice song. It's not too bad.
What is your process of writing? What inspires you to write?
Now I think it's changed. I remember when I first started writing, um, it always happened simultaneously. Like I would come up with a small little guitar lick or a riff or a chord work, um, which um, which kind of gave birth to a few lyrics, and it would go simultaneously. I would write the verse and I would write the lyrics for the verse and I'll write the chorus and the lyrics. So it'll go hand in hand all the time. But now I've changed it. I've developed new skills and new what do you say approaches to writing a song. So now I feel it's all about it's initially I know it was about finishing a song. It was about writing your own song.
Yeah.
Now it's about containing that particular emotion. So now the style that I write is completely changed.
Okay.
And also because of the influence of music production. As a music producer, you need to think very differently. You can't think like a songwriter, because in a songwriter, there are things that will not matter. Like as long as the essence of the song is retained, the song will work.
Yeah.
But as a music producer, now you have to be very careful. You need to have the right hook. You need to have the right chorus. You need to have the right elements, the right groove.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of calculation involved. So having the privilege to try both of these different styles of approaches, I have become comfortable using both of them, a little bit of both when required. So I want to write songs which has unique musical aesthetic, but also will work with any kind of audience. You don't need to know the language. You don't need to understand the music. They will just immediately get drawn to that. So that's the style that I'm trying to achieve.
Okay.
And in my, I mean, it's of course it's very subjective. This is only my perspective. I feel like Ilayaraja did that because his music. I mean, we've all tried covering at some point one of Ilayaraja's songs. It's very difficult to play.
Yeah.
It's challenging, skillfully it's challenging, and musically it's challenging. But you would hear the most well-versed musician and somebody who's not exposed to music at all, like a vendor on the road. He or she would still be able to sing all the parts of Ilayaraja's song. They even forget that how complicated it is. And I think that is pure success of the art. Like the music going to different kinds of people and having the same effect on all of them.
Yes,
And
people resonating to it in a way.
So that is something that I'm trying to learn and get at. So that's where in my singer-songwriting approach, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Okay. You told me that you've been working on as a producer, music producer with artists and movies. How different is the approach when you are producing an independent artist?
Okay.
And how different is it in movies?
It's very different, I think, because movies, there are a few calculations and there are few strategies that you need to use.
Okay.
Because the song has a purpose. It is catering to a particular scene in the film. And it's catering to a particular emotion that is happening in that sequence. So you have to make sure that the audience is engaged with that sequence. So there's a lot of techniques and small little things that you need to use to get their attention. But for singer-songwriters, the song is the purpose. So there is no the art that is the art. So I try and get as much as information that they want in the song from the artist itself, and then I make a few choices based on my experience of what are the things that will work and what are the things that will not work, what are the things that are too crowded. Because when a singer-songwriter is working in a production, usually there are no filters because they want to add everything good. So that is where the producer comes in, where it says, now there's some things that will work, some things that won't work.
Yeah.
So I think that also that also means that you have to listen to a lot of music and be aware of what is the effect that the song is going to have in the end of the day. So so yeah, it's very different from both the approaches.
Okay.
Definitely different. Yeah, it's not the same. But I think both are completely different styles. They can't be compared. Like I can't say which is better because I love working to a brief as well, as much as I'm led to do what I want to do.
Okay.
Like if the producer or the director is coming and saying, hey, this is a scene, I want something very specific here. Now this is challenging.
Yeah.
Especially if they come with references, right? Now
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't make it sound like the reference, but you need to understand what's happening in the reference and use the same essence and try something new. So that's challenging, and that's a lot of fun as well.
Okay.
But in singer songwriter, the initial phase is a lot more flowy, a lot more organic.
Okay.
Then in the end, you try and fine tune things.
Okay.
In the film thing, you fine tune right from the beginning itself. So there's a lot of tension that you need to have, and I mean both are flowy, but I mean you get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? So they're different in their own way.
Correct. How long has it been that you've been in the independent scene?
I think about 20 years now.
20 years.
20 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And do you remember your first gig?
Of course I do.
Where was
Of course I do. I think my first gig was in school. It didn't go well, and it was in one of these school competitions where I forget the name of it. It's been a while.
Okay.
So there were different bands from different parts of the city, from different schools, basically, who came. All kids from school, basically. And some of them were excellent. And I just knew a few chords, but then I was hungry to get on stage and play. and went and did one gospel song.
Okay.
And we had put a small little band together in school. It was called the Blue Wings, which later became, same members of the band started another band called Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And a few of them are playing with Lagori now. So I know them from school. Vinyl and Geeth, all
Okay.
these boys, I know them from school. They were my juniors in school. And so that was my first gig. And I think I sang as well. It was not a good gig. It was not a good gig.
Okay.
I remember all the bad gigs. So actually, I don't remember the good gigs. I remember all the bad gigs. Yeah. So
Okay,
that was
cool.
one of the first performances. I did.
So I think when you got into the scene, there were a lot of places to perform. This is when you got into professionally, when you got into doing your singer-songwriter sets in Bangalore. I'm sure you've played in different places,
Yeah.
but I'm specifically talking about Bangalore right now because right now the venues is shortened a lot. There's not
Correct.
many venues.
Correct.
Back then, I think there were definitely a lot of venues.
I think that the venues are there. Venues are still there. But what kind of even they want to have in that venue, that perspective has changed. There are some very good venues, but they don't have the same requirement of a singer-songwriter material or a live band material. They don't have that requirement anymore. I think the problem is bigger than venues. I know Bangalore was thriving with venues because that was the need at that point. People wanted live music. People wanted to listen to something new. People wanted to listen to something, something that they can feel on stage. And like there were places like B flat, one of my favorite places. I
Mine
always
too.
talk
Mine
about
too.
B flat too in all the interviews that I've been part of. There was Humming Tree, there was the Counterculture, there was beautiful venues, and they had a very specific job that that there was a requirement that people wanted to listen to bands, and they catered to that. Now people don't want to listen to bands. They want to just have a good time. They want to just dance and be in a social atmosphere where they can talk and they can. So the requirement of what music is needed is changed. So the problem is that people want different kind of music now, which is why, though, actually speaking, like Indranagar, how many pubs do they have? How many bars do they have? They have plenty, but
Yes.
how many of them play live music? Not too many, because the requirement has changed. And and Indranagar has got history of sound problem and all that, of course.
Yeah.
But the other parts of the city as well, there is no live music venue per se where people know, okay, this is where I go to listen to live music anymore.
Okay.
And even if people try to make such a venue, it's not as successful as any other clubs or pubs that are there in the city, which play just general music. And so I think the problem is, it's not a problem. It's just we are in the cusp of a massive change that's been
Yeah.
happening for the last 10, 15 years. So I'm sure it'll change a lot more 10 years from now.
Okay. Do you also feel that when it's a live show, there is a stress? I won't say stress. I'm not, at least not in a negative sense. Of curating in a way that you have to have good sound and rentals and all these things. But when you get into, I think right now it's all many DJs that's performing, right? It's just plug and play. So for a venue, it's a lesser headache.
Correct.
In that way.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, and it probably works out for them.
Yeah.
And I think this has impacted in a way that since you're playing what is already there, you have no access to new music,
Correct.
and that also would have changed the audience perspective.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And that is what at least we've been breaking our heads to, how can we get it again back there,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
people start listening to.
Yeah, I think it's a very big, what do you say? You need to do a very big move for it to be effective, I feel. That's one way and to look at it. But the other way is like these kind of podcasts. These are things that will bring the scene back for sure, and no doubt about it. And but it's this the change, whatever that we are expecting to happen. So how many other years of has it been since the scene changed? Say 10 years. So that I feel like that is how much time it'll take for it to again come back, because it's basically you're feeding that information to people, saying that, hey, you know what, there is original music and you will still like it, you will still love the music, you still have a good time. And because I know for so many for a fact that every time I've seen a band play to an audience that has not heard the band, they still end up liking the band if the band is really good, right?
Yeah, that's
so the problem is that that audience is not led to, they're not exposed to this other indie music scene.
Yeah.
They fear indie music scene is like separate. It's not as entertaining, or I don't know what their concept is, because everybody has their own idea of it. But I truly feel like in our entire country, we don't talk about indie music as part of the scene, because there is a lot of money in it as well. It's not only the big Bollywood stage that has money. Yes, there is a lot of money in that, but I'm saying this also has a lot of money. But we just have to make it happen. There has to be enough information, enough discussions about it to make it into a proper module of business. And I think that is essential at this point.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And I think one of the nicest things that you guys started, that was, I think, just when the pandemic kind of ended, or was
Simmered. It simmered down.
yeah, when it simmered down
Yeah.
and you guys started homemade sessions,
Yeah.
which I was a big fan of. And I think I, even though I was living in Mangalore, because we had all moved out to
Moved,
our
okay,
respective
okay.
cities, right? I did come for 2 3 shows and really enjoyed. One of the important things that I saw, people enjoyed,
Yeah.
artists enjoyed performing.
Yeah.
You know, there was, I think that is where you started a community building exercise first, at least,
Correct.
that I know of. I'm sure people would have tried.
Yeah.
And you guys curated a lot of shows.
Yeah, we did.
How did it work out in terms of finance, in terms of getting the artist and get the sound? How did you guys manage that?
So, what happened is, um, so the house that I was living at that point, it was a pretty big space because I had taken it for my mural projects and my painting projects. That is how it started initially, but then the space was big enough to host about 60, 70 people, and then we had met at that point. Mops, that is John, Prashant, Adarsh. So we had already I had a few equipments with me, like PA system, like very basic.
Okay.
This is what my dad used to use in
Oh,
the church.
wow.
So
Wow.
it's so because of the emotional value, I didn't let it go.
Of course.
It was not being used, but I had it. So what happened is we started doing rehearsals in that house. It was comfortable, and all the basic equipments were there, and we were rehearsing and it was sounding good, and we were having great rehearsals. And I was like, man, we should have a gig here. And I mean, we knew that we had the equipment, and and the idea of starting this community was there in everyone's head for a very long time. Just that the four of us met, and it just clicked. Everything clicked. Everything fell in place. And like Adarsh and Prashant, they were good with sound. They understood with basic equipments what is the best thing that they can do. And John was very good with making content and putting out. So it kind of happened naturally, and this kind of like drew in a lot of other people who had same interest. And so what I'm trying to say is we didn't make money.
I understand.
Initially it was I mean, not just initially, throughout it was not it was never about making money or a property. It was about trying to do something for the Bangalore music scene, and people had already hit a drought because they were not going out. They were just coming out of COVID.
Correct.
So it was risky business also at that point, but luckily there were no
Issues,
bad things that happened there. So what happened is the first gig we put together, and it was sounding great. There were about 40 people, 30, 40 people, I think. And suddenly we realized what had happened. I don't think we realized the magnitude of it till the first episode happened, and we saw the people reacting to it. And initially, I remember how it started. We had a gig, and the gig got cancelled because of the whole COVID drama. And I was so upset. We said, you know what? Let's do one thing. Let's do a gig ourselves, and that is how it started. And so then we just we thought we'll call it an event, because I knew you just put it as a one-off gig, it's not going to be as effective. So let's make it an event, call it Homemade. First it was called Homemade Blues, because Marps was playing that day. It was all about blues. Then it became Homemade Sessions.
Nice.
And
it's a great name.
thanks.
It's a great name.
So because it was all done within home, right? So it was all done within the people. So that was the idea of it. And then when it started off, we realized that the people who came were having a completely new experience. Of course, there are so many other of these intimate concerts that happen in the city, but we were. I don't know what it was that was different. People loved it, and it was very informal. There was no agenda. We were very concerned about one thing. One thing is the artist needs to be completely comfortable.
Yeah.
And because the artist is comfortable, the artist will perform his or her best. and that is what is going to, have an impact on the audience. So we made sure we told the audience, this is about the music. It's not about you having chit chats, and we're very strict about those
Correct.
kind of things.
Yeah.
And I mean, strict isn't very
Yeah, I get that.
approachingly,
Of
in a
course, of
disarming
course.
way,
Yeah.
right? So, but we made sure that was the culture that was developing within that homemade session. So, and then about we ran it for a year for free of cost, and because we had the equipment, there was no cost that we had to personally bear except for the ads and all
Got
the
it.
other things. And but to put that together every month was a big task.
I can
You have
understand.
to let go everything else and then focus on this. And
Yes.
initially it was difficult. I mean, throughout it was difficult for us to put 4 artists together every month.
Yeah.
And then we started. We also understood a lot more about it, about curating, how we can get better. So as we kept doing it, we realized that we cannot stop it. We have to keep going at it. And unfortunately, we had to, after 2 years of running successful events there, we had to move out of that house. And then we didn't get the same. We tried doing it in different venues, but it's not the same approach.
Correct.
We had a venue on board, and we had a very bad experience with them.
Okay.
And so it became about putting an event together, and it was not about making the scene of Bangalore music.
Yeah.
So that was very disheartening. And so for now, I think they've all taken a break. And
Okay. I
hopefully
hope
we
it
get back.
comes back again.
Yeah.
But really looking
Yeah,
forward
yeah,
to it.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So Sylvester, you are you're someone who draws,
Yeah.
paints.
Yeah,
So tell us something about that.
So I think I realized that I could paint before I realized I could make music.
Okay.
So I was extremely passionate about drawing, and it started. I was very bad in school, so all my textbooks had drawings. So one of the teachers kind of saw that I could draw, and she asked me to join Karnataka Chitrakala Parishad, and it was a life-changing decision that I had made. So I've been painting for almost 24 years now, as long as I've been playing the guitar, I guess. And I started a company called Bonda Soap Art Studios after I graduated from college, and we did a lot of murals. We did a lot of graffitis, a lot of artworks to everywhere. One of the noticeable ones is on Residency Road on 1522, the big graffiti outside
Yes.
with Jimi Hendrix portrait and everything.
Okay.
That's one of my works,
Wow.
basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did that for a while, and then it became too commercial for me. So I had to take a break from it. And I love art. I love to paint and sketch. I think it's another very deep-rooted part of me, other than music.
So when you say, I think when you say it was too commercial, that means you did not want to probably, you wanted to do it with the certain kind of feel, that the way you approach, and
Correct.
somebody not tell you how to approach. Is it something like that?
So what happens is, the thing is, they don't deliberately want to say, hey, don't do this, right?
Okay.
But they have a brief. So that's how I would like to see it. But the problem is the communication is not as smooth or as easy as it could be. That's the only problem. But the thing is, you are constantly catering to a brief. You lose a lot of your own ideas in that process, which is, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about cover gigs as well. And I'm sure we're going to come to that point, but it's very similar to that. It's like, if you are working to a brief, if it is creative is fine, but if you are specifically doing only one kind of work because that's what sells, you're not creating anything new. I don't want to do anything that I'm not creating. It has to be, whatever that I do, it has to be creating something. And lot many people understand the idea of creation because they have to accept it first. See, like, for example, there is this video that had become viral a few years ago. This incredible world famous violin player was playing on the street. nobody noticed him. They would love his music, of course. People who walked by, they would love his music. But when they realize, oh, this guy is a very big violinist, then what happens? They see the packaging and not the music anymore, right? So this is a struggle that's been happening for everybody. The problem is people will like a fresh idea, a new idea, only if it is packaged by a very big entity. If it is coming from somebody who you're having a conversation, a daily conversation with, you will have your say, you will have your perspective.
Correct.
Regardless if the idea is good or bad, you will have your perspective because you're approachable, right? I mean, the artist, you can put your thoughts out very easily. You won't, like, for example, if I write a song and share it with a friend and say, how is this? They'll say, this is like that, this is like that. But then if I play a Bruno Mars song that the friend has not heard, the friend will, and if I say it's my song, the friend will still say, hey, it could be that, it could be that. You know what I mean? But if I say, no, man, it's Bruno Mars song, they'll be like, oh, that's why it's so good. So that
Perspective changed.
The perspective changes immediately. So that's the problem. I feel. I think people are not exposed. They're not. One of the interviews, I told them. I don't know if I'd offended a lot of people. I told them Indian people are not taught how to. They don't know how to listen to music. But I still say that I don't think Indians as a contemporary generation who are living right now, we are not exposed to how to appreciate art.
I
We
second
don't
that
have
thought.
that information.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when we eat one very good piece of food, we're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Right? Why? Because we feel the taste immediately in the
Yeah,
mouth.
I think another thing is you're allowing yourself to experience that food.
Correct.
But you're not doing the same thing with
with
art.
with art, because we're not taught how to. We, like, if you're listening to something new, what is it that you're listening to? Why are you listening to it? We don't have that information. So if we don't have that information, how are people going to process it? They're going to only listen to something that they're familiar with.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And even we do that, right? I mean, when we are having a tough day, we would like to listen to a song that we are comfortable listening to.
Absolutely.
Right. So
Agreed.
this is exactly what happens with everybody. But the problem is that we are not taught how to navigate to something new, experience. How do we experience something new?
Correct.
And most of the people are left. They don't know. They can't make up their mind if they like something new or not because of the fact that they're suddenly just exposed to a new information.
Yeah.
They don't know what to make of
Yes.
it. So this goes to even me. Like, even I experiencing so many new things now, and I'm still understanding. Should I like this or not? I still don't know how to navigate through it. So I feel that information is not shared to us enough.
Correct. When I was growing up, yes, I had my set songs, some bands that I like, some Bollywood, some Kannada film music and everything. But 2013, I think November is when I moved to Bangalore to work as a sound engineer. And that is when my friends here who were musicians, they told me there are these pubs that you need to check out. So P Flat, of course, one of them. And that is when I realized that there is more music than what I thought there was.
Correct.
And one of the artists I saw was Abhijit Tambe.
Oh, yeah.
And I get goosebumps. Yeah, his music blew my mind that evening. And I was like, why haven't I heard about this? And then I got to understand so many bands, and that's how I met Suraj in one of the gigs, Suraj Mani, and so many other bands. And I think the only good thing that I did was I started listening, and then I fell in love with that. And then Double O happened, and there it opened doors for me for so many musicians. And one of the best things is Suraj was very particular. Key, you have to play originals. Fine, you want to play covers, play 2 songs. Out of your 10 songs, play 2 cover songs. But then you have to play originals. And then I heard you there.
I know. I love that thing.
Yeah, and so many other artists. And I'm glad that I listened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a very similar experience that happened for me also, very personally in homemade sessions. I had homemade sessions that I got to listen to so many artists that I'd never heard before. And they were all so phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
They were so phenomenal, and I feel like not many people have heard them yet. And if they heard, they would be absolutely in love with that music. And I remember like there was a very, very beautiful story that happened. Is after one of the homemade sessions got over, we were all chilling, we were jamming a little bit. We're just having a good time, and somebody walked in. This kid walked in. It was like, sorry, I heard music, and that's why I walked in. And one of my friends was like, please come in, no problem. And he was just standing, he was just watching everybody. He must have been about 21, maybe 20-year-old kid. And he was watching, and then he started looking at the keyboard very specifically. And my friend said, hey, you want to play, do you play music? Do you want to try it out? He's like, yes, please, can I try it out? And he sat on the keys and he played. Next 1 hour, there was silence in the room, and just everybody was just listening to him.
Wow.
Nobody knows about this guy. He was playing jazz. He was playing improv jazz. He was talking to us while he was playing. He was performing basically. And then we got him again to play a full set at home
Okay,
session after
okay,
that.
okay.
But he blew our minds, and he came up with on the spot,
Yeah.
lyrics and all the stuff. He was improving his way out completely. And it was something new that I've never heard something like that before. That kind of caliber of musician, like, and that kind of interaction that he had with the audience. So I'm saying, without listening to these new experiences, we will never know how much we like
Correct.
of what we like.
Another important aspect that I got from it is he was so curious to see what is happening. And that curiosity, I hope every young kid has that, so that he or she comes and explores this side.
I think that is one thing that I would tell. Like, I recently had one singer-songwriter workshop, and in that I told all the students this one thing: be shameless to approach to go perform, because every performance is character building. Is character building, not just for yourself, but for also your music. You understand what works in your music and what doesn't work. So fail on stage, it's okay. That's the whole purpose of it. You learn and you understand how to actually deliver it. That's the whole idea. So I think you need to have that little bit of shamelessness to approach people to want to play your music, because you're playing your music.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to come and say, hey, why don't you come and play? Nobody's going to do that.
I think it's easier said than done. What I mean is, I want people to, not concentrate of how many people like their songs. You play what you love.
Yeah.
And I think that love for music is going to bring your audience there.
Correct,
It will.
correct.
So,
For sure.
be patient. But
I think that's the game. I think being patient is the game. And see, like I said, the industry is changing, and we need to be aware of it.
yeah, correct.
And because for a very long time I was upset, why are people not listening to music the way they should? But that's a very personal, nobody's obligated to listen to your music. Nobody's obligated. So the only way you can keep at it is try to be the best version of yourself, and you let the music draw what you're looking for and not yourself.
Yes.
So I think that's what I've realized specifically this year. I've realized that, and I think music should do more talking than anything else. So
So, Sylvester, let's talk about your band, the Sylvester Trio.
Yeah.
When was it formed?
It was formed in 2014. I think it was. I was in Academy. I was teaching in Academy. I taught there for a year, and I met two other incredible people. I met Snehal Pinto,
The bassist.
and the bass player, I met Kishore Karambaya, who's the drummer. They both were also teaching in the Academy. And the Academy had this student showcase where the teachers also had to perform.
Yes.
And the three of us decided, hey, you know what? Let's just jam it out. And we jammed. By the end of the jam, we already had half a song ready.
Wow.
And it was like, hey, this is sounding nice. And because I was not used to a 3-piece band before, and because and it became a lot more challenging for me, and that kind of piqued my interest in it. Slowly, the band members changed. Now, first Kishore left, and then Joel Rosario came in, and he was the perfect fit for it. And we started writing songs immediately. Like we've written close to about 20, 25 songs now, and few of them are already have been released. We are working on an EP right now. I think that was a very very important stage of my life to have that band, because I always had this problem of trying different genres. I could play a little bit of blues, I could play a little bit of funk, I could play some singer-songwriter like folkish, very indie kind of things. So I could never fit all of this in the same band. But with the trio, I could do that. I could. It didn't. It was not genre specific, which eventually became genre specific. We became a funk band because we kind of liked it also. But but that is one band that I can do any kind of set with, and we became like one nice. Working machine together, like generating songs the way we would want it. And everybody's addition kind of lifted the song up even more. So everybody's mind became, what do you say, like we were working towards our skill to what is the best form of our skill that we can contribute to the song. It became about that.
Correct.
So it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And it's been 10 years now. Today, this year will be the 10th anniversary. And it's been an incredible journey. And members have changed. Snail Pinto had to, because he was pursuing his own music. Now he's put 2 albums out. He's working on his third album.
Okay.
And he's an incredible musician, incredible
Absolutely.
singer-songwriter. And then Prashant Nyanamuthu came on bass. So it's been somehow been locking in with the right people who like the music that we play, and they've always been contributing more and I think it's one of my favorite projects because of the fact that I think I wrote a lot of what do you say, challenging things for myself in that band in comparison to any other band, actually speaking. So it was it's a band with a lot of skill and a lot of flamboyance, a lot of energy. So it just checked in all the boxes of how a band should work in my head. It just checked all the boxes. So it's one of my favorite acts.
I'm so glad. So we were listening to your songs in the morning, and one of the songs, even back then, was Poem.
Apoma.
Okay, what's the story behind Poem?
Puma is basically, it's so close to the conversation that we were having just now. That song is about telling people that, hey, listen to all kinds of music, not just once. Because, the idea is, it's like you go to a buffet, and you want to try at least 2 different items, right? You don't want to try only one thing. Even if you're eating Indian food, you don't just eat rice. You put sambar also in it. So that's what makes it what it is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that song is in a quirky way telling people to listen to all kinds of music. So it's dance music poema and Gana patti kelama. That's what it is. So it's, and then I again say dance music poema and funk patti kelama. So it's basically telling because I remember the incident is it was in a dance club somewhere. People were having a good time, everybody dancing, and I was also dancing. I was having a great time, and I heard this little girl as in like this girl suddenly just blurt out this saying, "Man, I love EDM. I love only EDM music." And I was like, so why do you love only EDM music? I mean, they don't have an answer for that because it's dancey, it's energy. I mean, is it a comparison or is it something that you like this because you are very comfortable? So these questions in my own head kind of gave birth to that song.
Okay.
But I didn't want the song come from irritation. I wanted the song to be communicative and interactive with the people who are listening to it.
Correct.
And because it's also in a regional language, not many people are going to be listening. I mean, here understanding what it is. So it had to be an effective song, a fun song, which will eventually they will understand what the song is about. So that's the hope I have of that.
Nice.
So that's the
It's
story
a
of
great
Poma.
song. We were like grooving to it right now. you're going to release your EP, right?
So,
So what are the songs? Can you tell something about it?
We have about 4 songs, and Ritvik Bhattacharya and Adu Subramaniam are producing the EP. Actually, we've been working on the EP for a very long time, but due to unavoidable circumstances, we could not finish the EP in the time frame that we had decided to.
Okay.
But nevertheless, it's going to be out soon. So I think the songs are more funk driven, more R&B and funk driven. So even if it is funk, I want to keep it to a very happy funk, you know. And so that song also, that EP also has a Tamil song in it. It's called Aya Vecha Pere, and it's got 4 songs, and I think we love those 4 songs. It's come out really well. The arrangements and the decisions that we've taken to make the sound for the song. So I can't wait to actually release it, and I can't wait for
Any
people.
timelines as of now?
I'm hoping that we release it by April.
Okay.
It's almost ready, but then we are not. So we are just trying to get a few things in place before we do the release. So most probably April, I'm sure the song will be released on the EP. So
You see, Sylvester is making us wait till April. I thought he's going to say somewhere, December or something, I'm going to release it.
I wish I wanted to say December, but I know it's not going to happen in December. So April. So that's going to be a very interesting album. It's going to be. I'm very certain that having these extreme professionals like Ritvik and Adarsh is going to make it sound really good.
Yeah.
And they were also part of the latest release, Can't Break a Broken Heart.
Okay.
So and we're very happy with the way the song has come out and the way it sounds now. So we're really looking forward to finishing the EP with these 2 guys, and so hopefully everything falls in place soon.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you a personal question now. How, I'm sure in life there are highs, there are lows, How do you tackle that? If there is something that you can tell us about.
I think there is no strategy. I think you would solve, no matter how much you prepare yourself. I don't think you can. You're prepared enough to handle the lows or the highs of life. I think the only way I have accepted is, I have realized to navigate through that is fully accepting what's happening. Fully accepting that this is the reality at the moment, and not try to fix it, not try to change it, or not try to do anything, but just simply dissolve into it. And I think, because like I said, no matter how much you prepare, there are things that might go out of your hand anytime. So to maintain your own sanity at these points is more important than anything. And I think finding out who you are is a great way to prepare yourself for these scenarios. Like, I really love this Mark Twain quote: the 2 most important days in your life. One is the day you're born. The second is why.
Wow.
The reason why you're born. And that quote kind of really had a massive impact on me. And so I know I'm in a search of endless search in this journey to find to take a glimpse at what I can be and who I can be.
Okay.
What are the decisions that I can make, and what are the decisions that I can. What are the how well I can adapt to things. I think this is a constant search and learning that I'm very religiously following.
Okay.
And it gets difficult sometimes, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But like I said, when we realize our purpose, I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to make music, make art, and that's that is my purpose, and that is all that I want to do. And how I do it, everything else is adapting to whatever is slung my way.
Yeah.
And um, so I think understanding that is has helped me. I don't know if it'll help anybody else, but like I said, it's very subjective. Everybody, you can't never be prepared for this. So it has helped me to navigate through the highs and lows of this. Yeah. Okay. So
We talked about your musical influence, right? But you're somebody who also paints and draws. So, uh, any people that you're fond of, or you want to work together with somebody who paints and draws?
painting, I think there's so many people. But collaborating in painting has always been a little difficult, a little challenging.
Okay.
It's like two people playing the same guitar. I mean, there's some cool things you can do,
Okay.
which will be entertaining, but you can't really perform for 1 hour with two people on the same guitar, right? So it's I feel like I would like to collaborate with an artist and watch them work and learn than wanting to do a work with them together.
Okay.
So I'd like to sit in a room, watch the artist work, be in their element, and I'd like to learn how they navigate through the process. That is what is more interesting for me than to like put a canvas and then let's paint together. With music, it's not the same. Music is different. I would like to collaborate with a lot of fantastic musicians out there, for sure. But with painting specifically, I feel I'd rather sit down and watch them work, and and uh, learn from them and have conversations like these beautiful conversations. I think I'd like to do that more than. I think then I would create an art about them. I would like. I think I would enjoy that a lot more than just making an artwork with them.
Just another, additional question to this. We kind of got the idea how you write your songs. How do you make your art? What makes you want to like take the canvas and just?
I think I've been doing a lot more sketches these days, like book black and white sketches, and I think it's completely driven on it's a mix of what I see and what I feel. So if I'm seeing a door, I'm seeing the door, I'm sketching the door, but what I would be feeling because of that door would have a story behind it. So I'd like to visualize that story in front of me while I'm looking at the door, and I just translate it to the paper. And sometimes I also have um, if I have vivid dreams, these are things that really catch my attention. Like I love, I mean, even though they are uncomfortable dreams, I like it because of the fact that they fuel how I can visualize. Like I think the most powerful thing in this world is the human brain, and what we can visualize, what we can manifest in our own thoughts and brain. I mean, everybody knows there are multiple studies about it, even till today. But I think to experience that is something phenomenal. Everybody experiences it on a different percentage, of course, but everybody experiences how complicated our brains work and how our feelings are attached to the information already collected.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful process, and I enjoy that process, trying to just dig into my own brain and look within and see what are the things that I can see. I'm not as efficient as executing what is in my head on a paper in comparison to a guitar.
Okay.
So I'm better. I think my media of music is a lot more easier for me to express myself than in art, because art also has this. I get into a little bit of a serious dark
Okay.
space when I paint, and I like it also. I'm very comfortable with it. but it's tiring, is what I'm saying. Like after I finish a painting, I am very happy, but I'm more tired
I,
in
yeah, I get it.
comparison to writing a song. Irrespective of how tired, I'm very happy if I
Okay.
write a song. So, but I also feel like it's a process of shedding skin. It's a process of removing the burden that is there, has been clogging your brain.
Yeah.
So I feel it's a very meditative, very serene process for me to paint and to sketch, in comparison to making music.
Okay. Does music also trigger some kind of artwork that,
Of course it
yeah?
does. They go hand in hand. I'm
Yeah.
very lucky to be in that middle space where I can
Yeah.
experience both.
Yeah.
And yes, they influence each other a lot.
Amazing.
Like I write a lot of poetry based on the paintings that I do, and I paint on based on some of the poetry that I write, or some of the songs that I write. So they go like
That is so amazing,
yeah,
right?
they
That
go
feeling.
in and out whenever they feel
Yeah.
like. I'm not in full control of it though, but I
Okay.
don't mind. I don't mind it being an entity that is going in and out whenever it wants to.
Okay.
So yeah, and I love it also. I completely enjoy that process of when music bleeds into art, and when
Amazing.
art bleeds into
I
music.
know, right? I mean,
Yeah,
when you
it's
were explaining, I was like, I think, let me ask that. You did the artwork for O.C. Gomango's
Yes, I did,
EP.
yes, I
Okay. Was there any brief given? I'm so
there was
curious
a brief
now.
given.
Yeah.
There was a brief given for it, and more than a brief, what in that scenario, it was not a brief. He didn't say, "Hey, I want this." He said, "This is the song. This is the EP. I have an idea for it. This is what I'm imagining." So I based the work out of his imagination. So then I added a lot more elements to make it more relatable to the song, and more in sync with the song, and his vision
Yeah.
for what he had as well. So that was a great process. I loved doing the artwork for him. It was
Amazing.
different.
I've seen it. It's wonderful.
Super.
And
I'm glad. It was a very different style than what I'm used to. And I
Okay.
wanted to make it very like bouncy, like very fresh and very Rick and Morty kind of feel to it. So I added a lot of cool elements. I mean, cool elements like I added an octopus with a candy bar, and so those kind of things. Like
Amazing.
everybody's like having a good time listening to the music. So that's
Yeah.
the vibe that I wanted to create.
Okay.
And yeah, and he liked it as well. So I'm happy. I'm happy that worked.
Amazing.
It
Awesome.
worked, yeah.
So we have few questions for you. It's not exactly rapid fire. You can take your time.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Cool. All right. Okay. So a band or an artist you look forward to perform with.
Kashkale.
Okay. Why?
I think he's his sense of Indian music and his sense of world music is very unique. I love his music, and his collaboration with Warren has been something spectacular, and I feel like because of, I think I might also have very similar tastes of music and approaches
Okay.
of to what he has. Never met the guy, but listening to what he makes,
Yeah.
I feel like I can also do a little bit of contribution to it.
Okay.
So it's just a wish.
Okay. Amazing. Your favorite guitar and why?
Always and always will be Fender, because of the versatility the guitar has, because of how approachable the guitar is, to any kind of guitar player, a beginner or an experienced guitar player, and they have their own unique pickup sound, the versatility in the pickup, what you can do, and it's also very close to the music that I hear in my head, the tone that I hear in my head. So I think definitely a Fender electric guitar would be my number one choice.
Awesome. A show that kind of changed your life, made you feel like, wow, this is what I want to do.
Show that kind of changed my life. There's so many. I feel I'll tell you a bad show.
Okay. Okay.
So so this was in I was in college CKP, and there was this um, uh, band competition that was happening in a nearby college, a very famous college, MCC, Mount Carmel College, and I didn't know how to play the guitar, not too much. I knew a little bit, but I definitely was not gig ready. And then I found a friend. I asked him, "Do you play the guitar?" He said, "No." Do you know the name? I know only a few names. I said, that's good enough. Come, you play the bass. And I took one drummer, and the three of us had not rehearsed, done nothing. I said, just go and we just play, don't worry. I went to the college. I met these Fahrenheit boys. I borrowed their guitar. I didn't even have a guitar. I borrowed the guitar. And so when I went on stage, halfway through the song, I realized my guitar was not tuned. And I didn't know how to fix it. They literally booed us off stage. And
Damn.
I was singing a song, and I stopped in between, and I said, I'm sorry. And I walked out of stage. And next year I won the competition, best guitar player, best
Wow.
band.
That's a good comeback.
So
Yeah.
that gig was a very important gig. I don't know if it was the best gig, but it was a very important gig in my life.
Okay.
That changed my perspective of how I need to pursue it, and how I need to be like persistent in making it work.
Okay. Your favorite indie artists or bands?
Oh, that's very tough, bro. So many of them. My all-time favorite indie artist has been Thermal, for sure. They've been extreme influence in my music, in my writing. You know. But right now, I think my favorite indie artist is Michael Anthony Dias,
Oh, yes.
and I think he. Every time I listen to his song, there is an emotional chord that he strikes in me, that he makes me feel extremely vulnerable. Not just him, his music makes me feel as real as I can be. So I love his music, and I think he's such a seasoned veteran. What a and he's a brilliant musician on the guitar, and his songwriting skills
Yeah.
are something else. And more than anything, he's a kind human being.
He is.
He's such a
Yeah.
example of how you can just be by yourself. And so I love that man. He's such a dear comrade,
Yeah.
I feel. And I think he's definitely one of my favorite singer-songwriters in the
Yeah, I
country.
mean, the new stuff that he's released are amazing.
Oof,
It's got so
something else.
much feel.
Something else. I
Yeah.
think he's really poured his heart out, and I feel like that is an important asset to have for any singer songwriter. Like, bleed a little bit, like cut open, bleed a little bit, be as human as you can, and he does it naturally, and so effortlessly. So I feel like he's definitely the top of my list
Okay.
of singer songwriters
Amazing.
in the country, for sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what is the future like? What is coming up next? One is your EP. Anything else that you've
I
planned?
think I'm definitely looking forward to doing a lot more movies, and I want to get into the cinema field as well, and I want to make sure that somebody from the indie scene is out there doing music, what understanding music of what indie artists and indie listeners like, and making music for them as well in through cinema. So that's my foolish dream, I must say, but I'm working towards it, and I think I definitely will be putting out a solo album, an acoustic album. I also have a new act called Slide Tricks with a veena player. His name is Santosh Jairam. He's one of the most brilliant musicians I've met in the recent times, and he plays the blues on the veena, and so it's a duo act, a guitar. It's an instrumental act.
Okay.
We've already written about 5 songs. We want to write more. So that is another album that I want to
nice.
put out soon. So next year has got a lot of recording and a lot of music going out.
All right, that's so good to listen. So best of luck to you.
Thank you so much, Dinkar.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much for
coming.
having me here. It's been a great,
I'm so glad.
great morning, and I hope this becomes bigger and better. And I wish you. I'm assuming you'll be doing events as well soon.
Yes.
So I'm wishing you guys all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm sure you guys will do a great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
All right.
Cheers.
All
Thank you.
right.
Cheers.
Yes. And that was the video, guys. It was intense. Trust me, it was such a good session. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. So hit the like button, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon. We will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.